Yay. Go over here and see if the stream is on and public. I'm gonna change the name of it. It's gonna be learning how to build AI agents. In this live stream, I would learn and live stream my journey to learn how to build AI agents using an enhanced Docker containers. Perfect. And right now we're gonna go and watch this tutorial, and through this tutorial we're gonna go and learn how we could build AI agents. So let's hear out.
Around, watch it on 1x speed, and just pay attention and take notes. That way you can watch it once and be good forever. This is not going to be a quick fix video, but rather a video giving you all the knowledge that you need to successfully build AI agents. So,
okay, thank you for this information. So let's get in.
let's go into section 1.
So section 1, there is basics. These are the basics that we are going to learn together,
which is the basics. Now, we need to start small. I am going to be building out
By the way, I have already configured NAN with Docker, so we're gonna go Docker PS. So we have here a lot of containers, and we have an NAN container that's over here, and we have a partner so that we could have a GUI, and yeah, everything seems to be functioning just fine. And we have a local model, Ollama, that is connected with NAN, and I could just show it that very quickly. I have worked on this. I was trying to get some HTTP requests and try to extract it to Google Sheets, but that didn't work just fine. So for that reason, I'm going to attend that course and try to learn and develop myself in that domain. So here there is the demo, and here we're gonna just test the Ollama chat model. So for that reason, we're gonna type hi, who are you, for example. Then we're gonna have an output. So the local chat model is working, and it's going to give us an output. And yes, here's the output in this place over here. And he says, hello, I'm an artificial intelligence model, which means I'm computer program designed, etc, etc. And we could see in here, we only have a local Ollama running on this port, and we have here a basic LLM chain that is connected with this chat trigger. So with this chat trigger, I give it to the basic LLM chain, and then it empowers the Ollama chat model, and then we have an output. So this is a very basic LLM chain, and this is the one that ChatGPT uses, like very simplified model. But there is a lot of models that are more sophisticated that we have to learn. So this is pretty much was a headache. So I have worked like 2 days to configure the Docker containers and to configure the NVIDIA drivers with it so that I could empower this chat model Ollama. And it was a very big headache because I had to change the operating system to a more stable one that is more supported by NVIDIA drivers, and I had to troubleshoot a lot of problems, but I got this working, and this is really a good result. And right now what I have to do is to actually learn how to craft a good workflow and grasp the basic of NaN. And after that, I'm gonna build this project, which is a AI agent that takes, for example, a job website like LinkedIn. It takes all of that information. For example, I want to apply for a job, then it takes that page, it takes the company name, job description, email to apply at, etc., etc. And then it gets processed by the AI agent, and then it gets appended in this Google Sheet, and from it we could actually take those emails, apply in using Mail API, which is Gmail API or any Mail API. Then we could craft a motivational letter depending on the job, all of that automatically. This is a very, very important project for me because I have been suffering to apply to a lot of jobs or in Germany. So this AI automation is going to help me a lot to get vocational training in Germany. So this means so much to me. It's gonna be so much beneficial because I am a lazy individual that doesn't like to do the work manually. And if there was a repetitive pattern, we could actually leave that for the computer to do. And with the NaN and the Docker containers, this idea could be actually applicable. And I will actually work myself for this month to build this project and to actually not target only LinkedIn, but target all the websites that have Ausbildung in it, which is vocational training in Germany. And I'm going to apply to all of them using this AI, using this automation. And after that, maybe I'm gonna build an AI that has the capacity to make a call with the company. So rather than applying through the email, this AI model is going to apply through voice calls. And this is not going to be easy. So the second project is going to be way harder than this one that just sends emails depending on the job. It sends resumes, it crafts resumes depending on the job, for like a cover letter. It's going to be unique to each job application, then it sends them, etc. So this is the first project, and there is a lot of people that did the same. And what I have to do is actually to learn and to grasp the basics, and then we're gonna build this voice chat AI that applies through call voices. Okay, and it's gonna not be easy because we're gonna need a lot of expertise in this domain before we could actually craft such a project. It's gonna help me a lot to land vocational training in Germany, and that would mean a lot to me. So this project has a purpose, and it will make my life 100% better. So let's get into it. So here I have found a course that teaches NaN for beginners, and it is only 4 months ago, so it is still pretty recent, and for that reason it's gonna be relevant to my project. So I'm gonna use similar tools, etc. to make this happen. And I have in this group another course. Hold on a second. Yes. Where did I put it? Well, it's somewhere in here. And it is a very, very important course. Actually, yeah, not in this group. In this group called Target. So this is my Target course that I don't know actually how to follow correctly, because I'm trying not to use OpenAI online model and use their API, which is expensive. You know, I want to run a local model, and for that reason I cannot follow these tutorials, because I need to actually understand how to build my own local NAN AI model, and I could mimic this configuration after I understand the basics. So this is my goal. So let's get into it. And this guy is gonna help us. It's called AI Foundations, and we're gonna learn from it. And I hope I get this project done and change my life for the better. So let's start.
Multiple automations and agents in this video, but everything that is preceding that is going to be important for you to understand. I'm going to be going over terminology. I'm going to be going over tools.
Okay, so I want to actually grasp this tutorial like 100%. I want to make notes using Notion. I want to take screenshots. I want to do everything in my power, like 100% concentration, using live streams so that I could get disciplined. I want to grasp this ASAP. So that's my goal. And this live stream is actually just a tool to help me get disciplined. So I don't care if I had 0 views for eternity. What it does matter is that I learn, I get my project done, I change my life for the better, and I focus on something new on IT or develop something quite different. So that's my goal for the moment. So let's get into it. Sounds very interesting.
And pretty much everything you need to know to get up to speed on why agents are important and how to build them. So let's start with the basics, and the most important thing actually.
So here we're gonna just read the very first section, which is what are AI agents? Agents are systems that act autonomously. Okay, so it's like automatic. This is the term. So they act automatically and use tools to perform complex tasks. Okay, what do we mean by complex tasks? Can be defined as tasks that require human reasoning. Okay, so I was using my human reasoning to actually apply for jobs or vocational training, but I'm going to deploy an agent that is automatic that does this complex tasks that I was actually performing. So it's gonna take or mimic my human reasoning and actually perform the complex tasks that I was doing, and in a very faster manner and consistent manner, and it's actually more reliable than a human because it is consistent, not like a human who is gonna get distracted or uninterested in that topic, okay, or demotivated. So in that direction. So in other words, and actually, if I made such a interesting project, actually I could market this project as apply for Germany AI agent kind of thing. If I could actually deploy such a AI agent to the public, a lot of people are gonna use it because a lot of people just doing this manually. If I could just make this full project working and make a prototype out of it, etc., etc., this is gonna be a very, very important tool to every third country or second country students that study German and want to move out to Germany and needs to land there a job or Ausbildung, which is vocational training, is going to need to use a similar tool. And by that, it's going to be a very, very interesting business idea as well. So this has a lot of benefits, and there is only this course, and then we could actually experiment, make more research, see if we miss any information or we need any other tutorials. Do we need to learn something in code? Do we need to do that, etc.? Then we're gonna make this stand on its feet. Okay, so let's get started in this.
Actually defining what is an AI.
So let's just complete reading this article. So they are very dynamic and can adapt to different situations or edge cases. And agents are different than automations. So let's look at the differences and a couple of examples. Okay, so let's get started.
Agent. So what are they? Well, agents are systems that can act autonomously and use tools to perform complex tasks. Now, in the case of agents, I'm going to define a complex task as a task that requires human reasoning. So in other words, AI agents are good at replacing the need.
Yeah, they are very good at replacing that need. That is for sure.
For a human to be in the loop. They're very dynamic and can adapt to different situations or.
So yeah, so actually job applications is a very manual and repetitive pattern. And when you have a pattern, you could actually automate it. And this is a very, very interesting area that we could build our project at, okay?
Edge cases, and that's what makes these things so powerful, is they can adapt to unique situations. So you don't just like build it once for one unique situation and have it run. That would be considered an automation. Agents.
Okay, that is correct. That is very correct.
Take in new information every time. It's a different scenario every single time, but you can get a good result if you can build them correctly. So there are major differences between agents and automations, and I want to look at those different.
A very basic automation that doesn't require AI agents is actually very basic. You know, there is no, like, for example, I want to craft a special cover letter for each job, parameters like company name, job description, benefits, location, etc. So these are the parameters that I have, and I want to craft a motivational letter. So for a basic automation process, I'm not having the intelligence and that tool, which is agent AI, that is capable to take these parameters and process these parameters to make the final result, which is cover letter for each job application. And if that wasn't available, then we cannot do this functionality. So this is very important to differentiate between a basic automation process and an agent that automates or integrated in this process, okay?
Differences, and just give you a little scenario so that you can wrap your head around what is the difference between an agent and an automation, but how are they kind of similar as well. This is an important distinction to make, the difference between agents versus automations. So automations are predefined workflows that perform.
Okay, so agents versus automations. So automations are predefined workflows that perform structured tasks. Okay, interesting. And agents are non-deterministic and can adapt to situations in real life. You can think of agents like a human brain. When we are presented with a problem, our conscious mind will use our subconscious mind to determine what the best way to solve that problem is and what tools we need to get it done. Okay, so let's try to picture this. So let's grasp this. Automations are predefined workflows that perform structured tasks. Okay, interesting. So workflow is something similar to this. So this is also a workflow, and it is, let's say, predefined, which is preset or something like that. Okay, that performs structured tasks. Yeah, that has a structure and multiple tasks. So yeah, that's correct. So here we are seeing the agents part. Agents are non-deterministic, okay, and can adapt to situations in real time. Okay, So agents are more what you call it, flexible. Yeah, they are more flexible, they are not predefined, which makes them closer to the human brain. So you can think of agents like a human brain, okay, because they are actually structured to mimic the human brain. Okay, so when we are presented with a problem, our conscious mind will use our subconscious mind to determine what the best way to solve that problem is and what tools we need to get it done. So actually, if we saw an older version for ChatGPT, when you actually give it a prompt, he was asking questions to himself, okay? I don't know if that was still available or something close to it. Okay, so let's ask him. So let's go to ChatGPT. I guess that is still there. So let's just try that out. Let's ask him research. Okay, my spelling is out of reach. Research about agent AI or AI agents. Okay, just gonna do that. No, we need to do this in another manner. So we're gonna do and select this deep research. Then we're gonna wait for a while. Okay, so we're gonna go and say job application using NaN and Docker, for example. Okay, so in this, if we could actually see the backend data, how it is processed, we're gonna see a bunch of questions that he asks himself to do. So maybe so this is the activity. It doesn't show, they have removed it. But back then, in older versions of ChatGPT, you could actually see those layers that are now hidden, and you could see how the AI actually thinks. So yeah, we're just gonna let this cook for the moment, and we're gonna complete the tutorial.
Structured tasks, something that happens the exact same every single time. You predefine this, you can build this in the same software that we're going to be using today. And automations are great because they're super consistent. But agents, on the other hand, are non-deterministic and can adapt to situations in real time. So you don't.
Okay, that is interesting. So each time we give it different data, and he's gonna adapt to this data and react to it.
Don't have to worry about a unique situation or something small being different because the agent can adapt very well. And you can think of agents like a human brain. When we are presented with a problem, our conscious mind is going to use our subconscious mind to find out, how have we dealt with this problem in the past? What are some tools that I've used in the past?
Okay, so the AI has the context window, which is the memory of the AI. That is actually true.
What are all of my resources I have available in order to make a decision about this problem or about the situation that I'm presented with? That's kind of how an agent is acting, and actually that's the way that we're trending for AGI, is these reinforced self-learning feedback loops, but we're not getting there yet.
Actually, AGI is very far apart, which is like super AI, which is better than human, and nah, that is very far ahead.
Let's just think about an agent. So, like I said, when we're presented with a problem, the conscious will use the subconscious to determine how can we solve this problem and what tools do we need to get it done. So I want you to picture this in agents versus automations. Let's say you have a garden and you get sick of.
Okay, so let's say yes. So agents versus automations. Let's say you have a garden and you get sick of watering it yourself. Maybe you decide to set up a self-watering automation. Now your garden will get watered by itself at the same time each day. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so let's say you have a garden and you get sick of watering it yourself. So this is actually a manual action. Okay, so like applying for a job manually. Maybe you decide to set up a self-watering automation. Maybe you want to set up there a machine that detects maybe the weather or the time. It has these parameters, time, weather, etc. And on those parameters, it builds a set of actions, a structure, and acts towards it. Okay, so this is an automation. Now your garden will get watered by itself at the same time each day. Okay, interesting.
Of watering this garden by yourself. Maybe you set up a very simple self-watering automation. Now your garden will get watered by itself at the same time each day. Let's say you just set a timer. You say, at this time every single day, I want my garden to water itself. So this is great because you now no longer have to go outside and water your garden, and you know
That's correct. Now it is automatic.
that your garden is going to receive water every day. It takes you out of the equation, but there might be a few problems that you have to look out for.
Okay, so maybe you get a bunch of rain. Your automation doesn't know any better. It will keep producing the same amount of water as before. This could lead to overwatering your plants and could damage your results. Okay, interesting. So this self-watering machine has only one variable, which is the time of the day. And if it reaches that time, then it's gonna water automatically. It's gonna sip that amount of water each time, each day, okay? But if the weather was maybe rainy or snowy, then it's gonna do the same thing if the weather was sunny or any other weather that is not rainy, okay? Then in that example, I think your plants or it's gonna get overwatered and it could damage. Okay, that is actually true.
Maybe you get a bunch of rain. Well, your automation isn't going to know any better. It's going to keep producing the same amount of water as before, which could lead to overwatering your plants, and this could, well, damage your results if your plants are getting way too much water, right? Your water automation, where it's watering your plants, it doesn't know how much rain you're going to get in the future. It doesn't really know how much rain you got. It's just going to keep running at the same time every single day because it's predefined and you set it up like that.
That is true. Okay, so we have another text, or maybe you don't get enough rain. Again, your automation doesn't know any better. It will keep producing the same amount of water as before. So here we have a sunny weather and it produces the same watering amount. And in a sunny weather while there is no enough water in the environment, it should sip more water, which is actually pretty reasonable. So again, your automation doesn't know any better. It will keep producing the same amount of water as before. This could lead to underwatering your garden, cause your plants to die.
Or maybe you don't get enough rain. Again, your automation does not know any better. It will keep producing the exact same amount of water as before, and this could lead to underwatering your garden, or it could cause your plants to die. Well, underwatering it would cause your plants to die. So if you're going through a dry spell and you need to keep that soil nice and moist for these plants, then your water automation doesn't know any better. It's just producing the same amount of water as it would in normal conditions. But now I want you to
that's interesting.
imagine this. Imagine you have an AI agent baked into this water system. Instead of just setting up an automation where it runs at the same time every day, imagine the AI agent dynamically controls the water.
Okay, so but imagine this, you have an AI agent baked into this watering system. Not only does it dynamically control the water flow depending on current and future weather patterns, but can also take into account how tall your plants are, the zone in which you are growing them in, soil moisture, plant type, and then make decisions based on all of these changing factors. Okay, so in this case, we're gonna have multiple parameters: time, weather, if it was sunny, if it was rainy, if it was etc, etc. And for each parameter, we're gonna have different values of the watering amount. And just like that, if somehow this day is sunny and the time has come, then we're gonna go and say we need to sip around 5 to 7 liters of water for each plant. And for example, if the weather changed in the same period, maybe it became a weather or a rainy weather or cloudy weather, then we're gonna just make it more dynamic. Okay, so this is actually the idea. So not only does it dynamically control the water flow depending on current and future weather patterns, but can also take into account how tall your plants are. So the more parameters we have, the smarter the AI agent is. The zone in which you are growing them in, soil moisture, plant type, and then make decisions based on all of these changing factors.
Flow depending on current and future weather patterns. Imagine it can also take into account how tall your plants are, the zone in which you're growing your plants in, the soil moisture, the plant type, and then make decisions for when to water your plants based on all of these changing factors. That's kind of the difference between an AI agent and an AI automation or an automation in general. Your agent will be able to take in a bunch of dynamic factors and be able to make decisions based on your exact situation today. It can adapt.
That is true. I do share the same idea
to certain edge cases, which in this case would lead to an epic garden that is very lush. So agents.
So now automations are far more consistent, which can be good for certain situations. Okay, so we have a variable situation, and with agents, we could actually configure or adjust these automations. Okay. On the other hand, AI agents can respond and act as a human being by using its tools to determine what needs to be done. This is the exact reason AI agents are taking off right now. They are replacing humans in many day-to-day tasks, and they aren't only doing a better job, but they can work 24/7 without getting tired or needing sleep. Build them once and then relax. So actually, from experience, I have also worked at a customer service company. And at the training section of it, I have, just described how AI agents are going to take over this industry. And the trainer just said, no, it will never happen. We still need that human touch. But nowadays, we actually see how AI agents are actually adapting better voiceovers, more human voiceovers. It can laugh actually, so it could take some emotions as well, and it could do a lot more than a human being because AI have a better and longer context window, which it could actually remember a 2-hour conversation, for example, and it could remember everything with a very big and LLM model. So yeah, so actually customer service industry is gonna be 100% replaced with AI agents in the next 20 years, like maximum. After 20 years, we are we are gonna never see any human being works at this industry as an agent. So it's gonna be 100% replaced with AI. And all of those people that are now working at that field are gonna get fired now or later. So yeah, that's the future of that industry. And if you want to have a future as a human being, you actually need to develop these AI agents and, you know, make a business out of it. So this is the future, and you have to stick to it, and you have to adapt. And you can't just, you know, if you get a salary or something like that, you can't just be comfortable. You have to challenge yourself, and you have to make the right investments to actually track how IT is going in this world and the changing that happens to industries with each technology that comes out. So we didn't have AI in 2019, 2018, etc. It wasn't that famous, it wasn't that of a trend. Like, it was developed, but it wasn't that it wasn't so much deployed in the industry, unlike now, which is pretty much everywhere, in every website, in every tool, we're gonna have an AI tool sticks to it. So yeah, the world is changing and we have to adapt. And actually as well, computer science students are not gonna get employed because of the crazy and strong tool that we have right now, which is AI. That's actually is a very big help if you are an indie developer. For example, you want to develop your own little game, like, let's take a little example of Silk Road, Silk Song, Hollow Knight, or Hollow Knight, the first season. It is an indie game, and right now we're not gonna need a lot of employees or a lot of maintenance around it. You could actually just use AI as your employer, who could actually make the repetitive tasks in your company or in your project, actually debug your codes or review your code, or actually help you make research in your code, etc. So yeah, this is how the world is going to, this is the direction. And if you want to survive and make good profit, you'll have to stick to this. Otherwise, you're gonna get what's it called again? You're gonna get stuck and fired. Yeah. So that's the harsh reality, and we could see it in the marketplace, in the market domain. Actually, we could see it and experience it. And if you made a little Google search, you could see that the market share of employees is decreasing. So there is less job hiring, etc., because AI is just replacing those mediocre employees that are not doing actually anything in the company. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Let's get into it.
Automations, they have their differences, but I will say automations are far more consistent, which can be good for certain situations. While on the other hand, AI agents can respond and act as a human by using its tools to determine what needs to be done. And this is the exact reason why AI agents are taking off right now. They are replacing humans in many day-to-day tasks. And not only are they doing a better job, but also they're working longer hours because these things don't get tired. They don't need sleep. They don't make mistakes if they're having a bad day.
Yes, you just need a server or a home lab, at least, and it should be running 24 hours, and you should need to have the capabilities to actually pay for the electricity bill. And if you have made those conditions, then you could actually make these AI agents work 24/7 without any problems like crypto mining, etc.
right? They don't have life factors weighing in on their decisions. They're machines that have human intelligence. So that's why they're taking off right now. And they're taking off for good reason. It's not like some flash in a pan. It's like, no, this is actually doing better than humans. So you build.
So yeah, if you have the capacity to replace from human to AI, then do it ASAP. That's true.
Them once and then you relax, and that's what we're going to learn how to do today, is how to build.
So yeah, after we finish the job application, automation and implementing AI agents, then we're gonna relax and we will apply for thousands and thousands of to companies while gaming or while sleeping or while eating or while not being at your home. All of that happens. So crazy.
Not only automations, because that's super important to learn before you build agents, but also how to build these AI agents. So let's take a look at the agent and automation data flow. That way we can kind of see how information will be passed through agents and automations. And this is really going to help you understand what I am talking about today. So all automations and
Okay, so all automations and agents follow this similar framework. We are having an input, which is a trigger. It could be a scheduled trigger or a normal trigger. So this is a scheduled trigger. You could add as well another trigger. If we type in trigger, hold on a second. Yeah, we have a chat trigger. We have a toggle trigger, etc. We have a manual trigger as well. So you could click on execute workflow or execute in here at this icon, and then it's going to be a manual trigger. Okay. So yeah, this is a very, very powerful tool in here.
agents follow.
So we have an input trigger, we have a configuration, which is these actions in the middle. Okay. These actions as a whole. And then we have the output, which is the result, which is data organized and structured and a Google Sheet, for example. Okay.
Follow this similar framework. We have an input, which I will be referring to as a trigger often, like what begins this automation. You need something that wakes up the automation or the agent and says, hey, it's time to begin. That could be on a schedule. That could be when a certain news article is uploaded. That could be when you post on social media. Maybe you have a workflow that goes through and does content recycling for you.
Yeah, that's interesting. There is another project idea, which is when I actually make these streams, I could actually make a workflow that extract these stream content and actually make interesting and edited shorts and reels out of them, and that would make a long and boring stream into a short and more attractive content that could bring more interested people into this channel, for example. This is a bare example as well. So this is very interesting.
A trigger can really be anything, but it's how is this automation going to begin? And then we have configuration, which is step number 2. And we call these actions as well. So this is where you're configuring the data from the input, or you're taking data from the input, or spawning in new data after the trigger happens. So actions are where the fun happens in the agent and automation workflows. But if we configure our actions well enough, then we get a result or a good custom output. And the custom output.
Okay, that's interesting. So we have inputs, which is the trigger, configuration, which is the action, then output, which is the results, and the difference tasks. The difference takes place in the configuration section. So what matters actually is this sequence, which is the configuration. The better configuration you have, the more customized the output could get, okay? So we have here inputs, and here we have an AI agent, and here we have a custom output.
It can be like a physical thing that you get, like, okay, now I have new data in this database, or it can be a feeling people get, right? So like, because the actions took place after the input, maybe you have happy customers. So we're going to...
Okay, that's very interesting. So here we see input, etc. I'm gonna take a screenshot out of this. I'm gonna crop this whole thing. And I'm gonna go and copy this screenshot. And I'm gonna keep it for the
dive into
moment.
that.
So yeah, that's it.
But the difference between an automation and an agent happens in the configuration section. So right here at the action stage, this right here is the difference between an agent and an automation, and how the data is being configured. Because in an automation, it's going to be the same each and every time. But in the agent...
Okay, so here we have the input that the agent gets, which is a piece of data that we configure, and then it gets to the AI agent, and then the AI agent is connected with some multiple tools, and then we have a custom output. Okay, interesting. So the agent will decide which tools to use and automatically configure an output. Okay. Furthermore, it can act even on natural language instructions you give it without the use of tools. Okay, interesting. And you'll begin to understand this more as we go throughout this video.
It's going to dynamically decide how to configure an output based on the situation. So furthermore, it can even act on natural language instructions you give it without the use of tools. So based on the input, the AI agent decides which tool it's going to use. And
okay, that's very interesting. For example, if we had an HTML request, we're going to use the first tool, which is an output parser. If we had, for example, an RRS read, then we're going to use the second tool, etc., etc. Interesting.
And it can use these tools that you give it, or just instructions, right? It doesn't have to use tools, but that's what makes AI agents so powerful, is it can use your Google Calendar tool, it can use your email tool, it can use any tool that you give it. You can even set up a custom tool with an HTTP request, which we're going to get into in the future. But you're going to begin to understand this a lot more as we build throughout the video. Don't just like feel like you have to understand all of these terms right now, all of the setup. This is just a basic understanding of how this is going to be working. So next we need to understand real quick, who are AI agents for?
Okay, so who are AI agents for? AI agents are for everyone. If you want to become more efficient, save loads of time, create a new stream of income, save more of your income, then AI agents are for you. I've personally trained marketing teams, salespeople, construction workers, data analysts, accountants, lawyers, CEOs, content creators, e-commerce leaders, consultants, and everyone under the sun find a use case in their line of work for an AI agent. Not only that, but my students have went on to sell their AI agents for thousands of dollars. Furthermore, we've helped bigger, more established businesses save thousands of dollars. Okay, that's interesting. So we could actually understand that if we have made a good workflow that is very customized into a business idea, then we could actually deploy that in a prototype and maybe a production, so a product, and produce it to the public. And maybe it might be interesting enough to bring income. Pretty interesting idea. So yeah, if we have finished our projects, personal projects, then maybe we could go and make a business idea of this. True.
So AI agents are for everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone.
So yeah, there is almost everything. So for example, if you want to scrape the dark web, then we might use NNN. So there is a tool that's, hold on a second, there is a tool that I have downloaded from a GitHub. I don't know which GitHub it was at. So I have got it. I'm gonna go to CG back, I'm gonna CG to documents. And I'm gonna clear in ls. Yeah, so there is this tool called Robin. If we're gonna ls into it, it is a very interesting tool, scraper of the dark web. So you actually connect this with Tor and Docker, and it does search for links of forums and websites in the dark web. So it's going to be a very interesting idea if we could implement this tool with NAN and extract that out of it, not just links of websites, but more sophisticated data that we could actually use to maybe train a new AI model that could actually be more specialized in this criteria of dark web. For example, we want to make an AI model that could actually craft and analyze malware, for example. And for that reason, there is actually no AI model that does that for you. So you have to build one for yourself. And for example, you could just make an AI model that develops and understands and analyzes and debugs malware. And it has this built-in function in it that obfuscated, I don't know how to pronounce that, obfuscation. Okay, so it does that and to your malware so that it doesn't get cached by antiviruses, etc. And there is a lot of ideas that you could do just from these tools, which are available open source and online. And actually this won't cost a lot. You just need a little server that is capable to run AI models, to train them, etc. And you could do all of this ethically, of course.
Coached thousands of people in a paid community, the one that I shared with you earlier. And, you know, I am amazed myself at how many different people are seeing the benefits of AI agents. When I started, I was like, okay, maybe just for online people who are in the tech industry. But as we started...
So there is a billion ideas that you could use with these AI agents, like billions of ideas in any domain of IT. Maybe you want to use NN to actually develop a game, to actually go look at source code of different games that are on mobile, for example, collect these data, configure it so to make your own version of game, and you could actually deploy a game in a matter of an hour or even less, depending on the strength of your server. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting if you could make such a powerful workflows that could actually make a product just from one click. It's gonna be crazy valuable. So yeah, imagine we have a website we go into, and then we make a prompt, make this type of game, and then it makes it under 5 minutes or under 10 minutes, and then you have made your own game. Interesting. And it's not about game developing, it could be anything else, literally. And it's very interesting. Like the amount of ideas like you could actually get out of ethical hacking, it go to, for example, content creation, and deploy these AI agents to farm content on multiple social media platforms, and to deploy that farmed content into small channels that actually get ads, for example. And then you're gonna have a lot of multiple channels, which are bots, that actually generate income just from brain rot content, for example, that you could use, or cutscenes from a live stream of a famous live streamer. So there is technically billion ideas that you could use with these automation tools. It's just a very, very interesting thing to learn, and very profitable if you're gonna see it in that manner. So yeah, let's complete.
Started coaching more and more people, we started to see all walks of life benefiting from AI agents. So if you want to become more efficient, if you want to save loads of time, if you want to create a new stream of income, if you want to save more of your income, then AI agents are for you. Like I said, I've personally trained marketing teams, salespeople, construction workers, data analysts, accountants, lawyers, CEOs, content creators, e-commerce leaders, consultants, and everyone under the sun. I've helped them find a use case for their line of work regarding AI agents. Everyone.
Okay, that is true. Like for example, just imagine what a construction worker could do with an AI agent. Maybe this construction worker wants to change their jobs, so they have the same project idea as mine, and they want to deploy an AI agent that apply for jobs automatically. Done. What about lawyers? What do they want with this AI agent? Maybe they have lots of paperwork that is repetitive and has a pattern of processing. Then they develop or study about this and try to develop an AI agent that takes this data of paper work and try to make something out of it. Okay, so a lawyer thing, I don't know. A content creator, this is very, very basic. Like you take a live stream, for example, my live stream, and you ask, and you make a workflow asking that AI to take that live stream as input, configure it, which maybe take small clips and try to make a pattern of editing. Like we see that on YouTube Shorts, we have a popping out subtitles that are very interactive and colorful, and we have a set of editing. Like if you could actually make these small clips and farm from these small clips, then you could actually make a lot of profits from bot channels. So yeah, and we do actually have a lot of AI videos that are on the trends, and actually making these videos and taking profit out of it is very important, and you should think about that ASAP. Consultants. Okay, so yeah, those are the cases that fall into mind.
One has a use case. So if you're wondering, like, do I have a use case for my life? You do, and I promise. And by the end of this video, you're going to be...
Actually, if you didn't have an idea that you believe in before starting this tutorial, that you want to make with any price that you have, like any resource, any like time, money, etc., then you won't make something out of this. You have to have a reason. Why do I want to learn this skill? To actually make this automation, to make that type of automation. For example, to apply for jobs, because I need to immigrate or whatever, or maybe because I need to profit, so etc. etc. So yeah, very important.
Be flooded with ideas. So not only are people finding these use cases, but students of mine have went on to sell their AI agents for thousands of dollars. Somebody in the community actually sold an agent for $59,000, an AI.
Imagine earning $60,000, which is a very, very big number in the country I live at, which is Morocco. Like if you could earn that by selling one AI agent, then you have made a great profit actually. To actually reach that point, it's not actually following this guy or his tutorials, is to actually grasp the basics and make your way through. Don't be dependent from tutorial to tutorial. Don't get into this fall, into this trap. Actually make your own project by side. Try to grasp those basics, and from those basics make your own research and make your own products. And don't jump from tutorial to tutorial, because that is gonna just make you lazy and you're not gonna learn anything. And when you finally decide to do anything, then you're gonna get stuck 100%. So don't pay money for any tutorial, any premium tutorial. It is just unnecessary, because NNN has its own docs, and from them you could actually read how to configure, etc. Docker has its own docs. Pretty much every open source tool that we use in this project has its own documentations, so you don't need any tutorial. You could use actually AI if you are maybe stuck, etc., but not spending any money on this course or tutorial people. It would be very, very interesting to do, and it will actually push you to go out of your comfortable zone. And yeah,
agent workflow. So you can see how powerful these things are, because money talks, right? When people are paying tens of thousands of dollars to have these built consistently in small little communities, then yeah, like it's a pretty big thing. Furthermore, we've helped bigger, more established businesses save thousands of dollars with AI agents as well. So AI agents literally for everyone. If you want to save money, you want to save time, you want to make money, or you want to just become more efficient, then I recommend paying attention. Let's dive into the next section of the basics, which is the agent.
Yeah, so this is like the very first basic after just grasping the idea of AI agents and automation, which is agent building tool stack. So we're gonna get introduced to this introduction, okay?
Building tool stack. We're going to keep it very simple, and we're going to be using other tools throughout this, but like the main thing that you need to build AI agents are.
Okay, so we are going to make this 100% free. It's gonna be a little bit tough, but I don't know. So we're gonna make it free. That's my goal. So we're gonna use NaN, open source, absolutely free. OpenAI, I'm not paying any single dollar into OpenAI because I have already a very strong PC that has an NVIDIA graphic card. I think that's gonna be very enough to apply for jobs as a very first project. If I need more powerful AI models, then I'm gonna need to actually spend some money and invest into this. But for the moment, it's gonna be free for me. And while you are learning, try to minimize spending money, because when you spend money actually buying a course or something like that, you just become easy and you don't actually learn. Okay, so keep it most of the time free and you're gonna get better results, so trust me.
Are these two tools, And the second one is interchangeable, but we're going to keep it simple. And just so we're all on the same page, these are the two tools that we're going to be using for this course. So number one, we have N8N. Tough to say, but this is the no-code tool that we are going to be using to build out our automations and agents. And the good news is you can start for free. So I'll leave an affiliate link down in the description. So if you do end up purchasing a plan, I will receive a little bit of kickback. I would highly appreciate it if you use.
Actually, I'm not gonna go for any paid plan. If NAN becomes needing of this payments, then I'm gonna go and look for an alternative that is open source. And we have GitHub in our lovely terminal. Okay, so with this combination and with Docker as well, just put this Docker out here. Okay, hold on a second. Clear Docker PS. Here we have Docker terminal and open source tools. We could actually replace NAN if it became necessary to pay some money about it. So yeah, don't ever pay for software. Find alternatives, and there is a lot of alternatives that are open source, and use them. That's it.
Use that link, but if not, don't worry about it. Go to n8n.io and you get a 14-day free trial. So this is a perfect time to create your account if you haven't already. Next, we have OpenAI. And OpenAI are the creators of ChatGPT. So we need to integrate AI into our automations and agents. And the way we do that is by giving it a large language model to use. So we can talk to it just as we would ChatGPT. We can.
Okay, so I have a problem that actually made me motivated to learn more about NAN, because my project is very simple: grasp some information, analyze it, make an output, and apply, etc. But I'm having very big trouble to make an AI agent with the local model that is pretty much installed, which is Llama 3. So when we input our this, which is AI agent node, and we connect it with the model, it is not compatible. Okay, which makes this more sophisticated. So we're gonna need to find a local model that runs with the AI agents. So actually, if we made here OpenAI, if we looked for it, and we have chosen where generate audio messenger model. So here, does this actually connect? Let's see. It should actually connect. Hold on a second. Okay. This is the model. Oh no, it doesn't connect. Here, yeah. Okay, it's pretty interesting. No, it doesn't connect for some reason. Interesting. So we're gonna learn about how to build AI agents, because as you see, I'm very noob at it. But at least I could run local models using Docker containers, and it is integrated in the NAN software. So at least it is pretty much one step far from doing this project, which is grasping this HTTP request and outputting that into JSON and actually making it here in our Google Sheet with all the infos of company names, etc., all those parameters. So yeah, it's complete.
Almost like create our own version of ChatGPT with N8N that's very specialized at doing any task we want, if you wanted to think about it like that. You could also do this with Claude, Gemini, pretty much any model that's out there right now. And we can easily connect and use.
Okay, so my question here that I'm going to just look for, which is there any AI model that runs locally on Linux Linux machine and on Docker container that could get connected with the AI agents node n. Okay, we're gonna press Control Enter and we're gonna see an output from Gemini Flash latest. So this is gonna be way faster. Yes, there is a very well supported and widely used solution for this exact scenario, which is Ollama, which is pretty pre-configured. Okay, AI model that runs local. Okay, see here we see Ollama runs on Docker and NAN, connects with AI nodes, and has a dedicated Ollama node, especially Ollama chat model node, built into its platform, the AI agent nodes, and it can be configured to use Ollama chat model for its brain. How the connection works. When running both NAN and Ollama inside Docker, the key is to ensure they can communicate over the network. Should Docker network, the most robust way is to run both the NAN container and the Ollama container in the same user-defined Docker network. Okay, that is actually pretty configured. Then we have local LLM integration. After setting up the credential of the correct path URL, you can add AI agent nodes to your NAN workflow and select the local Ollama model as the required chat model. So that's what I did exactly. The NAN team even provided self-hosted AI starter kit. Yes, so this starter kit I have downloaded as well, which is this. So when I actually try to connect these both, I get connection not possible. Ollama model can't be interconnected to the Node AI agent because they are not compatible. So this asking then, why do I have this error? Because that's weird. Okay, so just see, it's gonna take a little bit of time. This is a very common and easily fixed issue. The error you are seeing, the Node Ollama model can be connected to the Node AI agent because they are not compatible. To connect two different types of AI nodes in a way it does not support. There are two main Ollama nodes in NAN, and they serve different purposes. The solution is the correct node. The fix is to replace the Ollama model node with the Ollama chat model node. Okay, interesting. So we're gonna need a chat model. So we're gonna see here and input Ollama. And then we have here chat model. Okay, so we have the model installed, which is Llama 3.2. So it's just so this is the chat model over here. So this should be compatible. Please be compatible. Yes, it is indeed compatible. So this error has been solved, and we could connect an offline and local AI model with the AI agent. Okay, and just like that, we could actually build our tool without spending $5 or $10, and it's free. And the only thing that is not free, which is the domain name. You have to buy a domain name to actually connect to the internet. So if you actually choose in here a webhook, we're gonna see that it chooses my domain name on the open network, which is the internet, and through that we could communicate with the internet and grasp data from it. Okay, this is the only thing that you have to pay, and it is only $5 worth, and it's very cheap. Okay,
use these models in NAN to supercharge how we are transforming our data. Now, usually for like an API key or for using these models outside of the physical platform, you're going to need about $5 to $10 to load in so that you can access these models.
So this is actually a very, very high bill. So imagine you are learning for months, in months, and you're gonna need to pay each month $10 or $5, which is a lot. And imagine actually using not only OpenAI, but using other AI companies that provide AI API keys, and then you're gonna pay $1,000 to $2,000 just to keep with AI. Actually, if you had a big and crazy product, then it is worth it. But for a beginner that tries to actually learn how this actually connects to each other, then you have to minimize the costs by actually running a local AI model, okay?
because of the computational cost. So now we've made it through section 1. Congratulations. We are going to move on to section 2, where we're actually going to dive into the basics of N8N, and so that we can learn more about our tool, go over the pricing, and everything you're going to need to know in order to get started when it comes to building automations and agents. So let's do that now. I hope that you're sticking with me, and I'm
Okay, so here we're gonna start to build, okay? Let's just skip this. Okay, so what is N8N? This is a no-code tool, so it is completely GUI, which is helpful. Like imagine to have, to work with code, which is not beginner friendly because I'm a beginner. Actually, if we have learned about N8N, it becomes actually you need to pay money for it. Then at that point, we're gonna have a solid foundation to actually build AI agents. And at that point, we could just use an open source tool on GitHub that employs the same technology for free, using code, etc., etc. Okay, that's going to be a little bit more sophisticated rather than N8N. Okay, so this is a no-code tool that we will be using to build out our automations and agents. It will be the linchpin for your agent building success. I've battle tested multiple platforms for builds and agents, and N8N wins every time because it is very, very simple and it is very interactive. I really do like how beginner friendly N8N is. Actually very easy to set up, just a little command lines, and with the GitHub starter kits you could actually get very far with it. So yeah, easy to set up. Think of this like an interface where you can connect and integrate AI into 500 plus tools on the internet. So for example, we could take ChatGPT, which is this very basic interaction, which is writing to the ChatGPT a prompt and sending it and getting an output out of it. No, you're gonna actually connect ChatGPT to your YouTube, to your Notion, to your Notes application, to, for example, dark web data that you need to analyze, to etc, etc, etc. So yeah, that's very, very interesting, by the way. So let's continue.
first of all,
Okay, so here we connected to 500 plus tools. You can connect to the Google ecosystem, the Microsoft ecosystem, your CRM tools, Airtable, Notion, so a note application, which is Notion, Slack, Stripe, email accounts, and any AI model, etc.
what is N8N, right? Well, this is the no-code tool that we are going to be using to build out our automations and agents. It will be the linchpin for your agent building.
Like we all know that AI is capable to generate script that is not perfect. If you want to develop a product, it hallucinates. It actually not is as optimal. But if you could actually build a solid foundation and make your own research with this automation tools, you maybe could maybe first you could maybe spot a repetitive pattern that happens in the developing period where you are developing a product, and to actually make an automation out of it. And that could actually help a lot. In networking, automation helps a lot. And imagine adding AI into it, like the dark web example, which is a networking domain. You could add automation into it, and you could actually get a lot of data that is pretty user friendly and could be used to maybe build another AI model or etc. etc. So yeah, pretty interesting.
Success. I've battle tested multiple platforms for building agents, and N8N wins every time. Think of it like an interface where you can connect and integrate AI into 500 plus tools on the internet. And within each tool, you can take multiple different actions. So you can connect to the Google ecosystem, the entire Microsoft ecosystem, all of your favorite CRM tools, Airtable, Notion, Supabase, Slack, Stripe, email accounts, any AI model that you want. And it allows you to bring all of these tools and connect them together in a Canvas-like setting. So you could connect your Gmail to a Microsoft tool so that when one thing happens in your Gmail, it...
So yeah, that's true. If you have, for example, received an email, you could actually take this is the second extension of my project, which is after applying to jobs, you're gonna get an email saying, hey, you got accepted, and or before that you have an interview, or maybe we didn't accept you for these reasons. Then you could actually make a workflow to actually extract the interview emails or the emails that are not rejection emails. For example, it's not an interview, and this is not rejecting, it is more of we need more documents, we need something out of you that is not an interview. And we could actually classify these emails and actually make summary out of them and make them easy for me to read them out. So for example, upload these summaries into Discord server or etc. So you do get my idea. So rather than actually reading through thousands of emails in your email, you could actually grasp this email data and extract what is useful out of it, and what is useful and has a value in it, then you could actually output it into your Discord server as a form of news, etc. So it's very interesting. So yeah, Discord server plus this plus that, you could make a lot of projects out of it. So this is a very, 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 very important project for me, like very important. And because I didn't knew this before, I have wasted a lot of time applying for jobs, and you get demotivated and you're never gonna be consistent as if with an AI agent which does all of this work on your behalf. Just have to keep a home lab open online 24/7, and then you're gonna have this result, which is crazy good.
Triggers another event to happen in Microsoft. So it's just insane how you can
It is insane.
connect all of your favorite tools and have them perform actions, and you can link them to AI to have AI help you perform actions while you are sleeping. So let's get into...
So yeah, let's sleep and apply to jobs. So actually, Germany is like not that big of a country, so it is pretty sad that we have only limited places for Ausbildung. And for example, if we have run our workflow for 1 week, then maybe we have applied to all Ausbildungs. And for that reason, I guess we might need, for example, to expand our output. Okay, for example, to apply to this certain Ausbildungs, we might need to apply in different forms, different documents, etc. I don't know how to actually get out of this limit, which is the limited amount of vocational training Germany. So this is pretty scary. Like, imagine running this automation for a week. You have applied to everything. There is nothing else you could apply to. So what should you do next? How should you get more applications going through? Should you change the pattern? Should you change what? So I'm very, very excited to discover this.
Do a couple of things about N8N so we can actually get off this presentation and start building agents. So we're going to go over the pricing, which could change depending on when this video is released, right? Usually the functionality is staying quite similar, but things like...
And I do guess that these live streams are in somehow interesting when I actually describe my ideas, my passions, etc. So it would be very nice to deploy a workflow that actually take my live stream and extract it into smaller clips, edit them, and make the interesting part of my stream into a short, which could attract a lot of people that would be interested in the same thing, because all of us are now consuming YouTube not through live streams or even normal videos with 20 minutes length. No, we are consuming daily brain rot content through 1 minute videos, which are shorts, reels, and this type of short videos. So if I could target this platform through extracting or through using live streams as input and making that output as shorts that are very interactive and very interesting, and taking actually the interesting part of the live streams, then this is gonna be very, very, very good product, because I'm gonna do live streams all the time while I'm learning new skills. And with this workflow, I'm gonna have shorts that are very interesting to people, and just like that, I'm gonna get to actually grow myself, not just learning a new skill, but just to bring with me an audience that actually cares about what I do, etc., and helping other people, charity as of.
The pricing and the user interface might change a little bit, but we're going to go over pricing, we're going to go over how to sign up, and then we're going to dive into the interface and the settings. That way you are a master of navigating your way around N8N. Now this step is very important to pay attention, because if you want to be a master at what you do, you have to understand your tool.
This is very interesting. If you had a webcam while you are talking about something that is very interesting, you could just actually zoom in to your webcam, and just like that you could catch a lot of interest. Not just like not having a webcam, you just have your voice, which is very interesting as well. Actually, investing and giving more energy into this might be worth it, who knows.
Tools best, right? If you're like a samurai ninja, you've got to understand the...
And there is another idea that you could actually implement with automation. If we saw the new trends of YouTubers, which are VTubers. So these design, which is here, this VTubers, this design is used to react to videos. So imagine if we could actually make a VTuber webcam here generated by AI, and we're gonna make this AI react to videos in a human way. And just like that, you could have a reaction YouTube channel that is 100% automated. So it actually clicks on the first video in the recommendation tab, for example, in here. It clicks on this, so actually it filters the language, so it takes not German or Arabic, it takes, for example, English, and it clicks on this automatically, and then it reacts to it through that VTuber design. So this is very interesting. So actually you are going to sleep and you are going to have a lot of channels that do reactions for you, and not just only YouTube, Twitch, and all of other streaming platforms. This is very interesting. Like the more automation you implement into these tasks, which are taking a lot of time from people to do, which are real people, most of these people are real, you are gonna get ahead. So yeah. So imagine if let's say, yeah, and by the way, we do see a lot of AI channels that are growing. So yeah, the world is going towards this, and we have to ride the wave. So yeah, let's get back to our course and delete this mediocrity.
The movement of the sword in and out. You have to know your weapon if you want to be a master of it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn how to navigate around the workspace. We're going to learn about the pricing, how to sign up, and these things that you need for your foundation of building agents and automations on this platform. All right, so first let's go over N8N's pricing. So if you're on n8n.io, you could head up to the pricing tab if you want to follow along, but
Okay. So we have the starter with $20 and the pro with $50, and then the enterprise.
going to go over it. Now we have 3 plans here. We have starter, pro, and enterprise. If you want to switch this tab to monthly, you...
Okay, that's interesting. So here you can have 5 concurrent executions. For example, for the free plan, you could only execute 1 workflow, which is not optimal. But actually, let's just save in here. Actually, with the paid plan, which is $20, you could actually execute 5 workflows, and that's pretty scary. Okay, you can do a lot of work with N8N. But why pay the money if you could use open source, right? So just learn the one foundations and move on.
The starter plan is going to begin at $24 per month. The pro plan will begin at $60 per month, and if you go annually, you do get a little bit of a discount. On my main account, I do believe I am on the pro plan, the pro annual plan, so I do get everything in the starter plan plus all of this. But the starter plan is pretty good for getting started, for sure. You can even begin for free, like I said, on a 14-day free trial. So all...
Okay, so let me ask AI about something. Create a new chat and ask, is my let's say, is the N8N license key, oh my god, license, stuff like this, help. Help. Okay, license key is the N8N license key that get sent to your email forever free, or is it a free trial? Okay, so just see the N8N license key you receive in your email for the self-hosted community edition is not a free trial. It grants you forever or lifetime access to a specific set of selected paid feature. Once you activate the key in an instance, it never expires and unlocks certain premium features for the lifetime of that instance. So it opens all of this: folders, debug and editor, workflow history, custom execution data. Okay, Zenable, okay, which is free for your own internal business or personal use, but has restrictions on commercially offering N8N as a service. Okay, so if you had a big project that is not limited into your home lab, which is what I'm targeting to, which is that, You're gonna have to pay, okay?
All of this stuff isn't really going to matter right now until you actually get logged in and see what I'm talking about. But this is where the pricing starts. And obviously we have enterprise. But the cool thing about N8N is if you want to get a little bit more into the technical side of things, there is a free local version that you can run on your computer. So you can download this to your computer essentially, and you can use it for free because N8N is an open source product. So anytime they roll out an update, they also make it open source, and you can update it from your terminal and do all of that. But that allows you to use it for completely free, but it does make sense.
Okay, it makes sense that for enterprise projects to get charged. True.
Set up a lot more difficult, and there is definitely a skill window that you have to be a part of. Like, it takes some time getting used to and learning. So I always teach on the cloud. If you want to go the self-hosted route and you're a more technical person, I highly recommend it because you get to use it for free and it's local, so you have a little bit more control of your data.
So use and then for the cloud is a very stupid idea. Like if you are learning, it's not a technical route. You could actually see other tutorials how to install it, and it's very easy to self-host it and to buy your own domain name to actually get the work done with your home lab.
But with that being said, I'm going to be teaching on the cloud. So this is the easiest way to get started. So in the upper right hand corner, you can hit get started. And this is going to take you to a screen where you can basically just create an account like any other app. So I'll type in my name.
Okay, so we have done this. This tutorial I start to hate because it does something that I have already did, which is stupid. Okay, so here it's gonna create a workflow with the first step. So let's hear how the first step is gonna be. Most of the time, the first step is gonna be a trigger, scheduled or manual. Okay.
As you can see, I have all of these applications I can connect to right out of the gate. And this would be a workflow, okay? So workflows lie within your folders and your projects. So I'm just going to go to this overview section again, and this is basically like your home page. It holds all of your workflows and projects. I can click this plus button again, and credentials we're going to get into in the future, so I'll skip over that right now. But projects, what you can do is you can add projects for, well, different projects you're working on. So I'll hit new project. And for this project, what I'll do is I'll name...
Okay, do we have a project in here? Let's see. I don't know. No, we don't have it. You have to upgrade to use the project feature. Upgrade to unlock project for more granular control over sharing, access, synchronization, or workflows. Actually, this is not necessary for my case because I'm only gonna work for one project, for one workflow, which is my project, small project, which is to apply for jobs. It's very personal use. Here we have credentials and workflow. Interesting.
Name this project Full Agents Guide, just so I can put all of my tutorials.
Okay, that was almost full agent guy. Just doesn't make any sense. It should be guide. Yeah.
Workflows and automations in here. I could give it an icon name. You could even name this like test project, but you only get so many of these projects. So I recommend making sure that you want to keep this project going, or making sure it's named something pretty general if you want to add a lot of automations here. So I'll do AI agents full guide with that little A icon. And from there, our project has been created. So now in this project section, I can house folders, I can house workflows, and that's how everything is pretty much organized. You have projects, folders, and then workflows. So
okay, that's very interesting. So we're gonna work with the workflows, which is the feature that is free, and we're gonna actually stick to it and create 1,000 workflows if that was still free. Then we're gonna actually exploit this feature to its maximum.
I could create a folder real quick. So maybe I want to create a folder and just call it like...
Could we actually create a folder at least? Let's see. Could create credentials, create data table. but there is no folder option. Okay,
section 1.
maybe this is only for the projects feature, which is absolutely unnecessary as offering this on the cloud.
The basics, and then hit create. Now I can click into this folder and I can create a workflow within the folder. So I could create an
This is a little bit of a structure. For example, if you want to build a very heavy AI agent for profit, then you may need this type of structure on your NNN instance, which is pretty logical. Like you can't just have random workflows just spawning up into your home directory, okay?
automation in this folder or an agent in this folder. I recommend organizing this pretty good from the beginning because it can get very messy, and I have to spend now probably hours cleaning my original workspace because I didn't organize this in the beginning. I got a little too ahead of myself. So this is the project and this is our folder. You can even create folders within folders within folders, however you want to organize it, but that's essentially the base.
It is just stupid to make this paid, because this is actually a very stupid feature that is existing in everywhere. Like if you want to create a folder, you have to pay money, or create a project, which is a big ass folder. Doesn't make any sense. Stupid monetization, I guess. Like if they had to make a limit so that they could sell it as a feature to extinguish that limit, it's not going to be about creating folders or projects. That's just stupid.
Basics of organization in the N8N interface. And you can go to your overview and see all of the workflows that you've created. Right now we have no workflows created, so we don't have anything to see. But if I were to go in here and create a workflow not in this folder, and just I could rename it in the upper left hand corner, something like workflow 1. And once I save it, when I go to the overview section, you can now see that I have workflow 1, and also within the full agents guide project. I can also click, hold, and drag the workflows into other folders. So now it's in the basics folder. I could create another.
Okay, so this is all unnecessary. Okay, just skip this. Okay, this is a little bit interesting.
Agents and automations. So
Templates. So this is templates that could help us to spawn a workflow for specific tasks.
I have a bunch of pre-made workflows.
Okay, so here we have pulling data from services that N8N doesn't have a pre-built integration for. Okay, interesting. So if you want to add an application that is not pre-built, you could actually use this template. Joining different data sets, okay, working with dates and times. It's pretty interesting. AI agent chat. Very quick start. Preparing data to be sent to a service, etc., etc. Interesting.
You can click, you can search for one if you want. Maybe you want like a Gmail automation. You can go check out what everyone in the community has been.
So most of these are free. There is this guy charging $50 for automate social media content with AI for Instagram, Facebook. Oh, so this is a very big project. Actually, maybe it's worth it, because you're gonna just input your channel on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, etc. And this could actually make prompts for you as posts, etc. So this is pretty valuable. That's why it is not free. It is his right to put a price tag into it, but that doesn't mean that you could not build it yourself, okay?
Creating. Some of these are paid, some of these are free.
And you could actually scrape the dark web to find AI agents, templates that might be just, very valuable and free, which is an ethical act, because that's public data that's available. And who knows, maybe there is a valuable template you could actually implement into your own home lab or cloud. That could be pretty interesting, right?
But there are some pretty cool automations to get you started in there. Next, we have variables. insights, help, and we also have settings within our interface. This is different from the admin panel. So I can click into settings here, and here you can change your name, you can change your email, you can enable 2FA, you can add users to your workspace over here on the left. So if you're working with a team, you can do it like that. You have
Okay, that's all interesting, but I don't really care. Just skip into this and start our first step. So actually he just shows you non-important stuff that you absolutely don't need to just add 30 minutes to his guide. This is actually just doing a lot of procrastination, which is not good. Okay, like he could actually skip those steps, because why would he teach them, right? It's pretty obvious, all of that.
that plus button. And now all of these things come up and it says what triggers this workflow. So remember, like I said in the beginning, when we were talking about the flow of data in an automation or an
Yeah, this flow has input, configuration, and output. We know that.
agent, we always had a trigger, something that started the workflow, or an input, something that said, hey, agent / automation, wake up, it's time to run. Well, that's what we need to add first. And
okay, so we're gonna start this guide. I'm just gonna take a break of the stream. We're gonna complete, actually do some 2 hours of the guide and see if we could actually continue the whole guide, because it is a 5-hour guide and we have to actually build our own project as well. It's gonna take some time. Don't know if I could do this today as a speed run, because I don't recommend speed run at all costs. If you want to learn something, try to digest that and try to balance your learning, because if you want to learn more than one skill, which is to learn how to code, learn how to hack, learn how to build AI agents, you have to, divide your schedule to actually get that time in for each course. Okay, so this is the technique that you should follow if you would make progress. Okay, constant progress, rather than focusing on one thing and forgetting about the other. So this is my advice from me, of course. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue.
These are all called nodes within this section here. All these little rectangles, circles.
Okay, yeah. Each node is like a network device that we have learned in networking. And this is similar to a network, yeah.
And squares that you're going to see on the canvas, we are calling those nodes. So we need to master the nodes of N8N. I can hit add first step, and let's add our first node. I can do a trigger manually node. You can click on that.
So yeah, there is this manual trigger. This is not automation if you use this trigger, because it is only fit for testing. Otherwise, we're gonna use scheduled, which is gonna do that automatically, okay?
And now, whatever's after this, we're going to be able to connect a bunch of different apps and a bunch of different tools. We can connect AI to this thing. We can have it do specific things. We can run certain prompts. So much we can do. But when I hit execute workflow, since we added a trigger manually, this is going to run the workflow. Beautiful. So now whatever's after this would have began. Now nodes are great. There's so many different things you can do with these little boxes on this open canvas that can make you a lot of money, save you a lot of time, and overall just make your life so much more efficient. So we need to learn these things inside and out. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to rename these. So as you can see, it gives you kind of a sloppy name. So you can right click this and actually rename this. Or what you can do is select a node and hit spacebar, and then you can just quickly rename it. So I can just name this like manual trigger.
Okay. So it's going to name the manual trigger into a specific name, a custom name.
And then hit rename, and beautiful. We now have our first node on the canvas. But let's learn about nodes a little bit more in depth, since they are what make up the entire automation and the entire agent and literally the entire workflow. We need to master these things. So let's do an in-depth study on them. So that takes us to section 3 of this full course,
Which are nodes.
which is the nodes section. In this section, do not skip it. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be important. The terminology
Yeah, I know. That's why I was stuck.
that I'm going to lay forward, literally everything in here is crucial for your success. So what are nodes? Well, nodes are what you build your...
You're just reading text, lazy bastard. So, what are nodes? Nodes are what you build your automations with. Each node will perform a new action on your canvas, N. Okay. And nodes can be applications, functions, tools, and more. Let's look at the 5 nodes type.
your automations with. Each node will perform a new action on your canvas in N8N.
Okay, I just have read
In order to
that.
master these nodes, we can look at the 5 node types of N8N. As you can see, we have a nice workflow down here. This is
Okay, this is interesting. So here we have research manager. So an AI agent that's called like that. We have a RAS in here. It has a terminal. It has... Okay, interesting. This is kind of a topic. This is a AI model. It's an OpenAI from the logo. Then here we have create topic kind of node. Here the same node, but here it's called research. Okay, that's a lot of nodes actually. All are connected into this chart.
is actually my deep research workflow. So you can get a lot of these nodes on the canvas in order to perform actions one right after the other. And you can do things like loops. You can add in AI.
Okay, look at that. This is a loop. That's true. If you see the chart like this, it's like a circle, all connected circularly. So this is indeed a loop. Here we have some kind of trigger. Then it gets processed by this AI agent and gets down here. Which is interesting.
give them tools to use in the agent section. There's so many different things we can do. Don't get overwhelmed. We're going to take it step by step so you can become a master and start building out sweet automations like these that save you hours per day. So let's take a look at those 5 node types. And I like just breaking them down.
Okay, so we have 5 node categories: triggers, actions, utility code, and advanced AI. Triggers are the ones that we saw, scheduled, and manual. These are nodes that start your automations. We refer to these as triggers. Where, when, and how does your agentic framework begin? Actions: do something in an app or service like Google Sheets, Airtable, Notion, WhatsApp, Telegram, etc. So this is the actions that we might take. Utility, which is to transform your data with filters, if statements, and data conversion tools. These are tools you can use native to in end that help you organize, modify, or send data elsewhere. Interesting. There here we have code, run code, make HTTP requests, set webhooks, JavaScript, and more. This takes agents to the next level. Then we have advanced AI, which makes your agent autonomous, add AI to your workflow, start LLM change, perform sentiments analysis, and more. Okay.
Down into categories. The first category is the triggers category. These are nodes that begin your automations. So we refer to these as triggers or inputs, and this is where, when, and how does your agentic framework begin. An agentic framework or an automation always will need a trigger.
That's true.
Or in other words, something that begins the automation and tells it to start. This can be a schedule, this can be a manual trigger like the one we added in last step. This could be a webhook. This could be when something happens in your Gmail or in one of your databases, when a new lead enters your CRM, when a new YouTube video gets published from your favorite creator, a new news article. Anything that could trigger a workflow is called a trigger node. Category number 2 is actions.
Okay, thank you for the info.
So action nodes do something in an app or service. Think about it like Google Sheets, Airtable, Notion, WhatsApp, Telegram. Actions perform actions in applications. So if you want to create a new row in Google Sheets, you could actually put in an action node for that. Node category number 3,
Okay.
utility nodes. These transform your data with filters, if statements, and data conversion tools. And don't worry, if this seems confusing right now, I'm going to show you all of these tools categorized out in an N8N canvas that I created. And so the utility nodes are tools you can use that are native to N8N, and these things help you organize, modify, or send your data elsewhere within.
Okay, so yeah, we have just read everything and he just rereads the same things, which is, this is like the worst way to learn anything, to actually spawn and different terms, to actually spell those. This is a pretty bad tutorial actually. Kinda hate it from the start, but we're gonna just get what's important out of it and throw the rest, you know?
Down into the categories here in order to explain.
So it just duplicates the same things with here we have what we call icons. So we have action nodes, etc, etc. Then we have code nodes. Interesting.
Visually what these nodes are actually looking like, and I will combine some together to show you also what they are doing. So right here we have trigger nodes. These are ways that you can start your.
Okay, so here we have manual, schedule, and chat received. Oh, this is very interesting. Manual, there is a form, there's on Telegram message, schedule, webhook, and then on message received, etc. All of these are nodes. Then we have here executed by another workflow. Oh, so you could, okay. So you could actually connect a workflow with each other. So you could get like multiple workflows doing the same task. That's why you're gonna need a project to actually make sense of that. Interesting. We have here L-Saber event.
N8N automation. So you can start it manually. I already showed you that one. You can start your automations with a form. You could start your automations on a Telegram message, for instance. And these are just like 9 ways you can start automations, but there are hundreds of different ways you can start automations. I'm just trying to give you a good variety of different ways that you can begin your automations. Same with these action nodes and everything that follows. There are many more nodes. I'm just showing you a very small section of what is out there. So you could start your automation on a schedule. So you can come in here and you could say like days. Maybe you want your automation to run every day at 9 a.m., right? Well, now that we have this
Okay, thank you for the obvious informations. That's kind of hate this. Like if you don't go into the stuff that are obfuscated and complicated, this is gonna be the worst tutorial I've ever seen. Like, this is so much basic, it's so much obvious. Kinda hate it.
If we activate this workflow, this automation will run and it will trigger this send a message, and we can have our own subject line. We can send it to anybody we want. We can send a custom message. You can send emails to yourself. Just an example showing you how this would run every day at 9 and actually perform any action you want afterwards. So schedule node is very useful, and we can use that for many different situations. Really automates things
Thank you for the infos.
at a very specific time.
So you could actually combine this schedule with send a message, an email. Pretty interesting. And we see here the shape of the node. You could know that this node is starting from here. Okay, starts from here, and continues from here. This one actually starts from here to take input and outputs from here. And here there is no input, there is only output. Those are triggers. So triggers are nodes with only the output mechanism, okay? And the actions are having input and output and are most of the time connected with the trigger, okay?
We have a webhook node. We have another trigger node, which you can set up so that when you get a new Gmail or a new email in general, then it will begin the workflow using the details of that email. It's one of my favorites. I love that. You can set up the automation to begin when N8N receives a chat. So they have this native chat feature. I could type in a message right here in a
This is very interesting.
message. And this message would then get passed throughout my workflow, which I'm going to be showing you how the data connects.
Yeah, a message trigger. I just showed that at the first of the stream where we had that demo workflow. We had this message node, and then we had an AI agent connected with an AI model, and we typed a message. It goes to that AI chain, then executes that with the model, okay?
And all of that in future steps. But this would begin an automation. So if I send that off, as you can see, that just began an automation. If we had things connected to the back half of this chat message, it would have started that process. So for now, I'm going to hide that chat. And there's many other triggers. Like I said, you can have a workflow be called by another workflow. You could have things happen in your relational database tools like Airtable, Notion, that begin your workflow, and that would work out perfect. So this is a general rundown of trigger nodes. Next, let's get into action nodes. And I'm going to kind of speed up here because you're going to understand the point, right? These are nodes that perform actions and external applications that you can connect. So I gave you 3 examples here: Gmail, Airtable, and Google Sheets. But like I said in the beginning of this video, there are over 500 different applications you can connect to. So if you
That's true. There is a lot of applications. You could actually browse that if you install any in your system.
have a tool in mind that you want to run some automations in, chances are it's in here. And if it's not, you can use a node called an HTTP request to connect to that tool if it has an API to connect to. But not only can you connect to these tools, but you can also perform multiple different actions within each one. So as you can see, this little gray text beneath all of the nodes here, those are actually the actions that we're performing. So if you want to get a message, you can do that in Gmail. If you want to send a message, you can do that. You can double click into these nodes and even run certain operations. So the operations are like the actions that you can take. So as you can see, look at how many different actions we can take within the Gmail tool alone. So I could reply, send and wait for a response, remove a label, mark as unread.
So we have all of these operations. So it's pretty interesting, right? Okay, let's continue.
Read, mark as read, delete, get, and that's just on the message, right? If I go to threads, we have even more operations that we can run on that specific resource. So it's some pretty cool stuff.
Okay, interesting. Let's see that ourselves. So we go to the demo workflow. Let us play with it a little bit. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna add Gmail like this. Yes. Then we're gonna go and choose this. Get a message, which has a set of operations. You could add label, delete, get many, mark as read, mark as unread, remove label. You could reply, so you could make a robot that replies to your email, which is crazy. You could send. We're gonna use this a lot in our job application process. I could feel it from here. And so if we switched, it changed as well the name of it, of the node. Send and wait for response. Okay, that's interesting. So you send, then you wait for a reply from the receiver. This workflow could run for weeks to get that response. So maybe this is an interesting operation. Yeah, you could specify the email, you could specify the subject, you could specify the email type. It was HTML or text. Then he could input the message. Okay, interesting. Here you could create credentials and connect this with your Google API. So yeah, kind of interesting. So this is kind of interesting out of here, but we don't need it in our demo. So let's continue the tutorial. So we are learning a little bit.
We're going to get into setting all of that up in the future, but that was just the Gmail. Like I said, Airtable has a bunch of different actions that you can take, similar to Google Sheets, which has certain actions you can take depending on what you're trying to do here. So you can do quite a bit of things. And action nodes are what really bring your automation to life and allow you to perform actions in all of those external applications that you do want to connect. We have utility nodes, and utility nodes are nodes that are native to N8N that help you transform data. So I'm not.
I don't know, but this guy looks like a AI. Like, I think this guy is an AI. Like, he has a little weird movements when he's talking. I think he's an AI. Don't you find that interesting, this theory? An AI that teaches about how to build AI is by itself an AI. My god, mind blowing.
Not really going to take the time to explain each and every one of these because they're kind of dependent upon the use case.
See, we have merge, date and time, filter, F, K, convert to file, aggregate, split out, set fields, switch. This is a little bit complicated.
And we're going to be using a lot of these today, but these are nodes that help you move data around, convert data, filter data, limit data, switch data, so that if you have a field that you want to filter by, you could have 4, 5, 30 different automation routes if you wanted to. It's a beautiful thing. It allows you to just manipulate the data that is within your workflow very well. And these are
Okay, that's kind of interesting.
utility nodes. Next up, we have code nodes, like I was talking to you about in the presentation, where you can run code in N8N. You can use an HTTP request in order to get information, post information, and use any URL pretty much in order to bring data into N8N. We also have webhooks.
Okay, interesting. So here we have code nodes that, for example, let's just see how it does look like. So I'm going to access code. Okay, so you could run custom JavaScript. Oh my god. Like, if we could do this. For example, Python. Like, for example, you have this node. And then you have maybe an SSH connection. Oh my god, this just connects. This just connects. This is crazy. It's crazy. Imagine this Python script runs a script inside of the SSH connection. You could actually automate tasks from N8N. Imagine not actually, like, this could make a lot of opportunities. This is crazy. Like, imagine having SSH with Python. Wow. So here you could make your credentials, your host, the port as well. This is crazy. For examples, a very stupid example, but for you want to update your system automatically, for example, each week, and you do want to do that through your cloud, okay, your cloud server. You want your cloud server to access your computer if it was on, and to run a script to update your system automatically. Like, imagine. Or for example, without using a Python script, you could actually type here the command. So for example, sudo apt update, and then you could here. So let me just gonna make here a Python, not a Python, but a trigger, schedule trigger. Here, schedule. Okay, there she is. Okay, exciting. So you make this, for example, each week at the morning, you're gonna go and access my computer and do this command, which is sudo apt update. And if this fails, I guess there is another node that if this operation failed and it didn't work, you're just gonna repeat it again after, for example, 1 hour. Okay, until I connect to my PC. I'm never gonna even think about updating my system because it's just gonna do that automatically, which is crazy good. Wow. Like, wow, if you mixed N8N with the cloud server, if you had actually the resources to run that, it's gonna be a very powerful tool, very easy to set up as well, which is wow. Like there is everything you could do is possible. It's very simplified as well. Wow.
And we have the fun nodes. So those were the code nodes. These help you send requests, use code, and add extra customization. While the agent nodes, these things are what integrate AI into your automation. So I just showed you two, the sentiment analysis node and the bare bones AI agent node, which allow you to give it custom instructions, give it a prompt, require a specific output, and you can connect models to these things. So as you can see, I connected GPT-4o. I can click into here and use any model
You're gonna need an API key.
that OpenAI has because I've connected my API key. And so I could even use like O3 Pro in here, O1 Mini.
Like I wish, I think there is Gemini who does this for you for free, an API key, but there is a quota, and if you reach that quota, you'll have to pay them. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna spend money on API keys no matter what you do. That's why I run it locally. If you have simple stuff, like simple projects, run that locally, and then ta-da, it's free.
I could do whatever I'd like. And this sentiment analysis one is cool. I wanted to add this in here because what this can do is this can take in a message or text to analyze and determine whether the sentiment of that text is positive, neutral, or...
Okay, so let's understand this node. Seems very interesting. So here we have the AI model that we could choose from OpenAI into a set of operations with it, which is very good integrated in NAN, by the way.
AI has because I've connected my API key. And so I could even use like O3 Pro in here, O1 Mini. I could do whatever I'd like. And this sentiment analysis one is cool. I wanted to add this in here because what this can do...
So this is a very interesting node that I don't know anything about.
Is this can take in a message or text to analyze and determine whether the sentiment of that text is positive, neutral,
or negative. Oh, okay, interesting. So this organizes data. For example, is this job offer a legitimate job offer that is falls under this criteria or not? Then the AI is gonna make a set of thinking and reasoning to come with this result. Okay.
or negative. And depending on which one it is, you could have 3 different automations running based on what the sentiment of that text is. So this was a very quick overview of all of the node types within N8N, and it's really good to make your...
Man, these tools over here, like you could execute code, you could SSH, you could schedule a trigger, you could... This is just magnificent. Okay, like there is a lot of ideas you could implement with this. Like if you had, for example, in Hack the Box, something that you could do a lot of times and repetitive, you could actually take that repetitive part of scanning that machine of etc. You could do that with NNN, for example. Just pretty sick.
Yourself familiar with each one of these because we're going to be using each one in today's video. Now, the best learning genuinely comes from just using it yourself and building yourself. So like I can give you all the information in words and text, but the biggest gains will be made when we actually dive in and start building these automations and agents. And that is exactly...
Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna do this tomorrow. So here we're gonna start. No, there's a lot of reading. So here, maybe we're gonna, maybe just dive in a little bit. Yeah, maybe here we're gonna start actually building our first project with this tutorial. So all of this, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Okay. And I'm gonna try to challenge myself tomorrow to finish all of this in one day. and live stream about it. So it's gonna be a very big challenge, and I hope I'm capable to pass it. So for the today, after I have fought to make this demo work on Linux and with the NVIDIA drivers to make this model run locally and get accepted by the Docker container, and to identify the drivers of the GPU, that took decades to actually make. And I'm just proud of myself that I did that today, because yesterday I was like fighting, no luck. I even switched from Arch to Ubuntu, like, but it paid off. The problem was not related to the Linux distro, sadly. So I have lost a lot of data, by the way. And yeah, it was worth it. And I'm going to continue this tutorial. I'm going to get a little bit of expertise by tomorrow. And then we're going to head in and do this tutorial, which is 1 hour long, to apply for jobs with AI. Then after this project, I could do the extension, which is another workflow. I'm going to connect them with each other, and if I got accepted or interview, etc., I'm just going to take that data and make a good output out of it. And after I do these 2 projects, I'm going to move and do something cool with it. Maybe build a better tool to scrape the dark web, or etc., etc. So there is a lot of ideas that should be executed as soon as possible. I'm very excited to actually do all of this, but for today it is enough. It is a very big win that I did all of this, and I'm thankful that I had the time and the energy to do all of this. And I'm thankful that I could actually record myself doing this and keeping it as a revision source. So yeah, I wish you a good night or good day. Goodbye.